Good morning from Terceira Island. It's about 7:20 in the morning. I'm gonna go down and have breakfast and then walk over to the bus stop and head to the airport to fly to Pico Island, I guess, back to Pico, just the way that my ticket's routed. So, I guess we're going to Pico. Just settling in for some breakfast here at the Atlandida Mar Hotel. Quite the variety. It's a self-serve buffet, but you need to wear gloves. See a beautiful rainbow this morning. I'm walking to the bus station, which is about a kilometer into the center of town.
From Terceira, I would fly back to Ponta Delgada, but not before a long layover on the island of Pico, where I had planned a full day of sightseeing around every corner of the island.
Alright, I am back at Pico Airport and gotta find something to do today. I got a 7-hour layover here, which was kind of the only option if I wanted to leave Horta yesterday and go to Terceira, have the full day there, and then continue. This was the only feasible way to do that. So 7-hour layover here, gotta figure out something to do here on the island once again, and then onward to Ponta Delgada at 5 p.m. today.
From the airport, I would take a bus eastbound across the island to the town of Piedade, where I would spend 2 hours sightseeing before continuing my journey westbound along the south shore of Pico, past amazing views of the Pico Volcano and onward to the port town of Madalena, where I visited a few days prior. There, I would check out the amazing Cella Bar before returning to the airport for my onward flight to Ponta Delgada.
I made it here to the very quaint town of Piedade, and I didn't plan on coming here at all. I really lucked out at the airport, to be honest with you. The bus officially would leave at 9:45 in the morning, and my plane landed at about the same time. So by the time I got out of the airport, it was probably 9:55 or 9:56. And lo and behold, as I was walking out of the airport, the bus arrived late. So that's great, because I was actually able to get on the only bus that left the airport today to travel around the island. I have a 7-hour layover here in Pico, so this made the most sense. Grab public transport and see the island. Unfortunately, it's raining on and off today, so I'm so glad I wasn't walking on the highway somewhere today. I chose the best day, I suppose, on Wednesday when I arrived last to go see the interesting World Heritage inscribed vineyards and so forth. But today I'm just enjoying small town Portugal. So this is the eastern end of Pico Island. At this point I'm about 50 kilometers from the airport. So I've definitely made my rounds here today. I'm inside of a gazebo here in the town square of Piedade. It's going to be a 1 hour and 30-minute layover here. The next bus that leaves this small town is the only bus that leaves this small town today, and that leaves at 12:45 p.m. back to the main city of Madalena on the western end. So a 2-hour drive, about another 50, 60 kilometers down the road. I'll arrive in Madalena, where I slept a few nights ago, and from there I'll head back to the airport. It's going to be about a 15 to 20 euro adventure here to circumnavigate the island. So thank goodness some sunshine is coming out, it seems. So I think the rain has stopped for at least a short period here. can see some interesting architecture, small little churches, and it's pretty remote. I mean, no tourists really come out here because you're looking at a good 50 kilometers of anything of, I guess, on the tourist trail. You can see this fountain here. I guess the town fountain. It even has a marker, I guess. This interesting looking church. I'm not really sure what it is, to be honest with you. Rain is picking up again. I got to put away the Osmo Pocket because it is pretty susceptible to rain. But yeah, I'm enjoying my time in this little village so far. So this is the stunning Piedade Cathedral. Absolutely beautiful. The rain is soaking this DSLR though, so I got to be very fast. I got to switch to the iPhone because it's got a little bit more resilience here to the rain. But this is the Piedade Cathedral. Beautiful whitewashed church. Looks quite historic. I'm not sure exactly of the age, but likely from the 16th, 17th century by the looks of it. You can see that beautiful rainbow and beautiful Azorean countryside here in Piedade. This cow just chilling here. So green and lush. I think I might escape the drizzle though. It's a little bit too heavy for my comfort with this much equipment. Probably carrying $2,000 to $3,000 worth of equipment on my back. So gonna try to shelter it from the rain, but one last look at the beautiful Piedade Cathedral. Beautiful lava stone houses. I just wish this rain would stop so I can enjoy it more. And my feet are soaking. It's disgusting out. And I've wrecked these boots long ago. But yeah, Piedade on the eastern coast of the island of Pico. So I'm here at the Cafe Sonos having a espresso. I still have about an hour and 10 or 20 minutes or so, hour and 10 till the bus leaves, so I'm going to kill some time here. So unfortunately the spitting outside just won't stop, so I'm going to be warming up here with a espresso and hopefully waiting out this storm. I tell you, it was the biggest mistake to visit the Azores in November, so I learned my lesson. It's more like, Eastern Canada at this point. It's about 10 degrees outside, 11 at best, so cold. Again, it's not the region's fault, it's just the weather. It's winter. But yeah, but it would be so much nicer if it was not raining constantly. I don't want to sound like the police or anything like that. I mean, I'm pretty chill. However, this guy, he was just literally coughing up a lung and sneezing without any effort on his part to cover his mouth, cover his nose. He was literally throwing snot on the floor. So disgusting human being on so many levels. Absolutely no tact, especially in this era of COVID. It was awkward being in that room, and boy, I held on to my mask for dear life. But anyway, looks like the fog is setting in down there. I'm going to be heading down to the coast now that the rain is fully stopped and checking out some of the other sites here in Piedade before moving on. So you can barely see the island of São Jorge in the distance because of this thick fog that's taken over the eastern side of the island. You can barely see it. Little bits of it, I guess, popping out, but for the most part, we're completely enshrouded. Just some beautiful Azorean countryside here in Piedade. I took a side road here, but you can see that's just, this little path here is just screaming for me to go down there and explore it if I had the time. So there's not much to the village, though I can say without a shadow of a doubt, it's got some of the most beautiful dilapidated buildings that I've seen so far in the Azores. There's definitely a lot of history here. You can see this dilapidated building. This view, these doors remind me so much of Zanzibar in Africa. Really cool. It's 12:45. The bus should be pulling out of here in 10 minutes. But I want to get there a little bit early in case it's running early. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I don't think he was that early. I can't imagine that being the case because they're supposed to leave here at 12:55, but there is no bus to be seen, so I am getting a bit nervous for sure. Thankfully, there's another bus that's supposed to leave at 1:15 that'll take me to the airport directly. So I guess there's that fail-safe if I need it. So it's probably an important point to make here is that you need to be as flexible as possible in the Azores because schedules don't necessarily mean much. So really frustrating, everybody. I was here early. I was here at about 12:47 or so, and the bus is supposed to leave from here at 12:55. It's now 1:10. The bus is allegedly 15 minutes late, which I can't believe. He was probably super early and passed by the stop, which sucks. But I can't even imagine that because he would have left the nearest town here, the origin, at 12:45, and there's no way you can get there in 3 minutes. So I'm not sure what happened, but needless to say, there is no bus here. I don't know where the bus is. The other bus in the opposite direction should be arriving here within the next 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm kind of torn. Do I go to the south route? Do I go to the north route? Honestly, this bus stood me up. I have no idea where it is. Thankfully, I was able to track down the driver who brought me here, and he said the other minibus is on his way, but he's significantly late. So I'm not sure how that works. The guy probably forgot he was working today or something, because literally the origin of the trip is 7 minutes or so down the road. So I'm not sure what he was waiting for, but he is now 30 minutes late. So crazy. But he promises that he's coming, and we're going to do the south coast together. So we'll see what happens. I think he's finally pulling up. 40 minutes past its scheduled departure. So we're passing through the town of Piedade. Surprisingly, he actually got back on schedule, so I arrived on schedule here in Madalena. Beautiful church over there that we saw a few days ago. My goodness, does it smell like fish here, though. One of the most pungent harbors I've been to in a long time. So across the way there, you can see Porta, where I was yesterday. Ironically, that's how little ground I've covered with this convoluted routing to Madeira. However, nice to be back in Pico. Pico's a great island. No views of Pico, but it seems to be the case always here on the western coast. So I'm glad I did get a few views today on the way here to Madalena. You can see that big stack rock too, almost like the one in Cannon Beach, Oregon, just off the coast here, the haystack rock. So what I'm going to likely do now is head over to a place called the Cella Bar, which was recommended by the winery when I visited 4 days ago. So I thought they were saying Cella Bar, just due to the pronunciation. So I couldn't find it anywhere, but I did find some signs for it, and Cella Bar is what they were talking about. I guess it's won awards for its architecture, so very unique wine cellar basically, just about a kilometer away from here. So I'm gonna walk up there, check out the Cella Bar, and then grab a taxi to the airport from there, no matter what the cost. So at least I'll get to wrap up my time in Pico, trying and sampling their famous wines of this region. So retracing my steps past many of the monuments that I recognize here in Pico. So there's the windmill, some of the murals down the road. Seen all this before, but I'm only about 15 minutes walk from the Cella Bar, which is where I'm headed. Hopefully they're open on Sunday. Really incredible waves here like I saw a few days ago. Huge swells. And I get another great view over there of Fayal Island and the town of Horta on the left. Nobody's surfing though. I'm not sure, probably because the lava rock is so sharp. I'm sure it's not very safe. That's looking down towards Madalena in this direction. Beautiful place though. I'm really glad I took the opportunity to leave the airport today, no matter what the cost, and really spend this 7-hour layover seeing things that I had not yet seen on Pico Island. Just walking down the path now towards the Cella Bar, which is just up ahead. So this is the Cella Bar. You can see that the architecture is pretty unique. They have that little oval-shaped kind of dwelling where you can enjoy your beverages. This little chapel from 1934 as well, right next door. So I'm going to go ahead inside and check out what this architecture is all about and why this place is all the rage here on Pico Island. So this is absolutely a beautiful spot here at the Cella Bar. Really unique interior and amazing views of Fayal Island and the coastline, and some of the best wine you can get on the island. So just trying out the red wine here, Pico's Finest Red. They specialize in white wine, but I don't have the time for white wine. So definitely a very delicious glass of wine. It's definitely dry. It's not a sweet wine or a dessert wine or anything like that. It's not like a port. The closest thing I could describe it as is kind of like a Merlot, but it has a really strong cherry overtones, like a tart cherry taste. Yeah, really good. Check out the Cella Bar if you're in the area. It is just over 1 kilometer from Madalena. Easy walk along the coast and a really beautiful one if you have the time. And this glass of wine cost me €4.50, so pretty reasonable. They also do full tastings for €14, so cheaper than the winery up the road. Heading to the airport. So Pico Volcano decided to show itself here as I was leaving, and you can see that it's so tall that it has a fresh coat of snow at the very, very tip of the summit. So cool. But I'm glad it showed itself as I am heading to the airport. Really nice guy there up ahead on the left. He picked me up on the side of the highway. I hitchhiked my way here to save on the taxi, and that was amazing. He was one of the first drivers to pass that picked me up, so perfect. And amazing views of Pico. I'm so thankful that the mountain has shown itself. I had a pretty foul trip here to Pico in many ways with the weather early on, but it is all making up for it now with these incredible views of the Pico Volcano as I leave the island. Well, this flight is wheels up in just 30 minutes. I have to get going, unfortunately, but some final views of the gorgeous Pico Volcano from here at the airport entrance.
right, after a 40-minute flight from Pico, I've arrived here in Ponta Delgada on the island of San Miguel. Early morning departure tomorrow at 8 to Funchal, Madeira.